Alright, this is a battery life test on my 2024 E-Ride Pro SS. So we'll turn it on. Battery's at 100%. I have 103 miles on it already. Trip's at 0 miles. So let's give it a go. So I think one feature about this that's interesting is it has adjustable region. So you can go no region, medium region, or the most region over here on this switch. But I don't think that the region works until you get down to around 90%. And I'm guessing it's something to do with overcharging the battery. Oop, there's the horn. Here's an eco mode launch. Full throttle. So it'll do about 31 miles an hour in eco mode. Brakes are getting a little squeaky, probably because of the wet. Let's do a sport mode launch. See, if you notice, I was having trouble keeping the front wheel down. Full throttle in sport mode. It's ridiculously fast. Let's do another sport launch. This is a steep hill right here. It just rips up it. Little slick. Best part about this is that I'm out here riding in a neighborhood and I don't think I'm bothering anyone. Whereas if this was my dirt bike, I would not be, it would not be chilled. Apparently turbo mode works for 5 seconds. Let's see. So it did turn off turbo mode. Apparently it gives you a full power boost for about 5 seconds. So I would still say the regen hasn't kicked in yet. We're at 95%. And I can tell because I'm switching the switch and I don't feel any. Actually, I'm gonna say that now the regen's working. So somewhere around 95% regen starts working. Something that's cool is that the regen helps so much with wheeling because when you let off the throttle, it's kind of like you're hitting the brake. So you don't even really have to use the back brake to control a wheelie. You can just let off the throttle and it's like it pulls your front down a little bit. Bike is so fun to wheelie. And I'm not able to ride a controlled wheelie on a motorcycle, but on this bike it's similar enough to a mountain bike that I had it figured out in a day. And it's probably easier riding a wheelie on this bike than a mountain bike. Would love to learn how to drift on this. Wheel spin out of that. Just unweight the back wheel and give it some throttle. And it'll spin. Look at that, it just pops up so easily. So sick. So it is pretty hilly, you know, where I'm doing this riding. So I'm sure you would get some better battery life if it was flat. So fun. Look at that view. Yeah, regen's definitely working. And I'm riding it in the highest regen setting right now. So fast. I mean, it'll just stand up power wheelie. Look at that. Power wheelie. It's very fast. I would compare it to a 252 stroke in terms of acceleration. Maybe a little bit less, but very similar. Also, since it's so much smaller and weighs less, it's just more fun to me so far. It's just so usable, maneuverable. Can throw it around. Can't wait to get it out on some trails. So we've gone 3.7 miles and we're at 91%. And we've been ripping pretty good. Obviously this doesn't have anti-lock brakes. But an interesting feature I didn't realize that it had is the throttle doesn't work when the brakes are depressed, either one of them. But if you pull the throttle and then let off the brake, it's going back to the same throttle level that the throttle's at. So you can see that right there. It's kind of an interesting potential launch feature. You could give it full throttle and then let off the brake and it'll give it full power immediately. But that would be sketchy. So we're probably getting really good battery usage going downhill. Maybe it evens out up and down hills versus flat. Something else I was always curious about before getting one of these was if I could get used to the back brake being on the left as opposed to a mountain bike where the back brake is on the right. And I got used to it, like I said, within a day or two. Not an issue, but you absolutely could swap these, and I don't think it would be a problem with using the throttle and the back brake over here. I've only looped this out once. I was in sport mode and just grabbed a handful of throttle and it turned over immediately. As long as you stay on that back brake, you can take the wheelie really far back. I feel like you could legitimately trail ride this bike, like on some dirt bike trails. And the battery life would take you on like a couple hour ride at least. I'm gonna do it sometime. I'll probably take it to Brushy Mountain. Because that is some serious fun, is this. On some steep trails. For me, I just have all the confidence riding it on hills because it's so small and maneuverable and light. Like you can push it easily. I think I could do a lot more on this bike than I could on a dirt bike. In terms of like hard enduro stuff. So 5 miles, we're at 89%. Something I'm not sure of that I should ask eRide Pro is, does the regen recharge the battery? Like I know it does on a one wheel.
That's slick. Super slick.
All right, we're at 7.1 miles and 85%. What do you think? Should I be riding on the sidewalk or over there in the road? This would be a sick jump right here. I'm so worried about pulling some brake and just sliding out. 8.3 miles, 84%. Oh, and just for the test conditions to note, it's probably about 58 degrees right now. %, at 9.1 miles. Man, talk about how much fun it would be to get this thing on some dirt jumps. I can't wait. we're at 80%. Thing pulls hard. It really does. Got some wheelie turning action there. It's weird how turning a wheelie is just kind of intuitive. Couldn't really tell you exactly how to do it, but somehow it works. Alright, so we're at 11 miles, 78%. Still have that brake squeaking going on. Let's see. I guess it's also possible that there was a little bit of maybe oxidization built up. I'm not worried about it. My bicycle hand signals. It really should just be street legal. I'd played it. It would make more sense than it being a bicycle. Has lights and everything. Still has all the power at 77%. Maybe I should start practicing some stand-up wheelies soon. Look at that, it's just so easy to modulate with this throttle. So smooth. There is probably like a few millisecond lag between the throttle and the actual power hitting, but I think it is very easy to figure it out, and then it feels very natural. So we're at 12.1 miles, 75%. And we've definitely not been conservative on the power. Been ripping wheelies and chasing them. uses up a lot of power. I would expect that just trail riding, you would use a lot less battery. Maybe we should see if we can do a downhill wheelie. It's harder because you don't have gravity to counteract your momentum, so you have to get a lot farther back too, because the balance point moves. All about covering that back brake. And you gotta make it intuitive. Woo! It pulls. It pulls. That would be a fun road to go up, but I'm not going to. Save it for the walkers. Woo! Just about laid it down right there. Grabbed a bunch of throttle and it was wet and lost the back wheel. We're at 14.2 miles, 72%. Thing wheelies so well. So fun. Every once in a while I will instinctively go down and put my foot on the rear brake, but there is no rear brake for the foot. Rear brake's up here. "15 miles, 70%. On pretty aggressive riding, I would say. Honestly, the battery life is good enough that this test and video will probably get pretty boring. Honestly, might have to go swap out the GoPro battery too. Whoa. Starting to rain a little. So we're at 17 miles, 67%. So I believe the power loss officially kicks in at 30%. So right here, I would kind of say if you were going to go 15 miles out, 15 back, you would easily get back before the 30% battery where your power loss would happen. The power loss is pretty annoying. I've had it happen once. Like I said, when you get down to that 30% or so number battery, and then you're basically in eco mode only, maybe even a little bit less. So you wouldn't want to plan to have to do your ride in that under 30% range. So that kind of says to me, you know, to account for even more power loss than what I've used here, so more aggressive riding, I'd say you could easily do a 15 mile out, 15 mile back trip and be back before your power loss started. And even then, you'd be safe to, if you needed to get home on the 30% or less battery, you could. All right, we're back after a short break. We had to change the GoPro battery. So I took a picture of the screen when I stopped riding, and we were at 66% and 17.7 miles. So you can add the 17.7 to whatever we get in this video. Woo. I think the brake was a little wet and I almost didn't get enough brake and almost went over backwards. Yeah, I think we got some oxidation build up on these brakes. Maybe we can wear it off. There we go. Wow, bear poop. See that? I'm cleaning up my yard. That's why all this junk is back here. Just cleaned out from around this shed. All that crap was back here. And then I brought all that brush out of this area. Hoping to kind of make this into like a little track or something. bike is so fast. It's ridiculous. Especially when you're on a grippy surface. You can just throttle it and let it eat. So fun. Wow. How sick would it be to build a track to race these on? Just in someone's backyard or something? Pit bike races? With some jumps? Yes, please. So we're at 1.9 on this trip, and we had 17.7 before. So we're very close to 20 miles at 61% battery. And like I've said, we've been pretty aggressive on the throttle for this test. Sometimes I worry a little bit about something getting loose on here and not noticing. Like the fork or something. So, I think we're all good. One thing that I've had to do a good bit on this bike is mess with the play and the rear brake, because I feel like I keep getting more air in the line, and so it'll want to go all the way to the handlebar. That's not super surprising. That happens with most hydraulic brakes. So we are at the 17.7 plus the 3.4 gets us to about 21, I think, at 56%. Now this back brake is starting to go pretty close to the handlebar now. I usually have to go in and adjust the sort of preset screw to get that back out there. It's going too far for me now. Still got all the power. So after the 17.7 plus 3.6, we're at 21, 22 miles or so, I think. Yeah, a little over 22 miles from 100 to 56%. Pretty good.